My taxes are done now, and I owed absolutely nothing. I actually got some money back, which just blew my mind that I would actually get money back in addition to owing nothing. So this is a huge benefit and talking point that's available to each and every one of you. I know that you pay lots of taxes. If you have a job and only a job, you're going to pay more in taxes than somebody like me ever will, especially in proportion to the income. And there's not a lot of freedom in that, because a lot of your money is just being completely sucked up from you and wasted on who knows what the government wastes your money on. Nobody really knows. We just know that the government wastes a lot of money. But if you become a business owner and you invest in your business, you're going to stimulate the economy. And Uncle Sam says you don't have to pay high taxes anymore. In fact, you're going to pay the lowest taxes in proportion to your income of anybody else out there, especially in comparison with anybody who has a job, and especially anybody that has a job and only a job. So this is a pretty awesome thing to raise your income pretty dramatically in the course of a year and pretty dramatically lower your taxes at the same time. So you got both of those things working for you in your favor on both ends of that spectrum. And what that does for you, especially because you're in a position of ownership where you own your own job and you own your own income, then that increases your freedom. It also increases your security. And the reason why I bring that up is because people that believe in having a job and only a job, they sound the same. They all say the same thing. I want the steady paycheck, the retirement, the security. Their core value is security. And security is a nice thing to have, so I'm not knocking that. But the problem with having your core value being security, you sort of become this slave to, we'll call it the system, and a slave to security. And it becomes your master, and you lose your freedom. So you have this false sense of security at the expense of your freedom. And in the end, you really don't have the security at all, because you're working so hard for something that you'll never own, you can't leave to your kids, and can be taken away from you at any time. And they don't even need to give you a reason. And a lot of you know what I'm talking about. So on the other side of the fence, where you own your own business and you're investing in your business, lowering your taxes and raising your income, your core value here is freedom. It's not security. But consequently, you're going to have more security than anybody who occupies a job ever will or ever could have. Because there's no security if you're under the thumb of somebody else who can take it all away from you at any time and not even have to have a reason. I know people with government jobs, and they gloat about how, oh, thank goodness I have a government job, it's pretty safe. Well, guess what? Right now, a lot of government jobs are being cut. And a lot of people are getting caught by surprise, and they thought they were secure, and they're not. If you don't own it, I don't care if the government owns it, if you're a postal worker, if you work for the military, it doesn't matter. If you don't own it, then you're under the thumb of somebody else, another entity. There's no security, there's no freedom, there's no security, there's no freedom, there's no security. I want you to get that. There is no security in having a job and only a job. In fact, if you're supporting a family and not just yourself, then the livelihood, the bread and butter of your family is at the vulnerability and the mercy of something that you have absolutely no control over whatsoever, and you're going to pay the highest taxes on that deal of anyone in the entire country. To me, that makes absolutely no sense, especially on a financial perspective. This isn't to put down jobs or the pride that you have in your work. Always take pride in your work, no matter what. And I think you should outperform based on the pay that you get. You should do better than what you're getting paid for, because that's how you have a better shot at getting those pay raises anyway. But just in the context of what's financially intelligent, having a job and only a job, and in the context of what's secure, it's not financially intelligent. It's not security whatsoever. Owning your income, investing in a business that you own, gaining business skills, that's your security, that's your freedom. The freedom is going to come first, and the security, it comes with it. And lowering your taxes comes with it. And that's one of the most patriotic things you could do right after serving in the military. Lowering your taxes in this way, lowering them so much to where maybe you won't pay any taxes at all. That is the most effective way right after serving in the military that you can really serve your country, because you're going to do so much to stimulate economic growth, create jobs, and all that kinds of things that gets the economy going, which everybody benefits from, especially the middle class and the poor really benefit when rich people get rich and they lower their taxes and they're legal, moral, and ethical. That does more for poor people and middle income people than anything else ever could, any government any could. It's when people get rich, owning their business, investing in it, stimulating the economy, and lowering their taxes to next to nothing or nothing. That does more to serve everybody. So that's why we get to lower our taxes as much as we do and pay the smallest amount of taxes in the country. It's either that or you got to give all that money to the government because you don't own your own business, so you're not positioned to lower your taxes at all. So then all that money goes to the government and they just completely waste it. And you're going to spend or invest that money much more intelligently than the government ever will. And you know what? The government knows it. That's why they hire out so many private companies for private contract work, because even the government knows that they can't do the job that the private sector can do in terms of what the government needs for the country to stimulate economic growth. So that's why the government is set up that way. In fact, about 99.5% of the tax code tells you how to lower your taxes because that's what the government wants you to do. Only 0.5% tells you how to raise your taxes. And about 98% of the population is doing what the 0.5% of the tax code is telling them to do, raise their taxes. So 98% pays the highest taxes in the entire country. And that's absurd. Just pay attention to most of the tax code, the 99.5% of it. It's telling you how to lower your taxes, and then just follow directions, do what it says, and you'll do it. And the best way to do this, in my opinion, it starts a lot of money to start your own, or it costs a lot of money to start your own business if it's a traditional business. I like the network marketing direct sales industry because you can get into almost any one of them for less than $500. If you want to start a Microsoft, it'll cost you millions and millions and millions. If you want to start a small mom and pop kind of shop and it's a brick and mortar, even that's going to be $1 million to get the business going, get the lawyers and everything else that you need, the inventory and whatever else that's involved in that. That's a lot of money. People borrow against their houses on things like that, and they could lose everything. There's a lot of risk involved in that. But in a direct selling network marketing industry, almost any one of them you can get into for less than $500, and the earnings is unlimited. I mean, network marketing has produced more millionaires than any other sector of business, period. There's even some billionaires that have come out of network marketing. And, best of all, in my opinion, what you get from it is the business skills. Even if you start with absolutely no skills, maybe the only thing you know how to do is change a tire, I don't know, or dig a ditch, I don't know. But you go into it with absolutely no business skills. There's no application. It doesn't matter what your past is. You could have a criminal history of, I don't know, maybe when you were young and dumb, you ripped off somebody's purse and now you got this criminal history. I don't know. And none of that matters. There is no application. There's no orientation. So none of that can be held against you. There's no seniority. It doesn't matter if you can't play the political game. That's often found in companies, how they move up the corporate ladder because they're really great at just playing the office game of politics. None of that matters. Seniority, politics, all that stuff that only exists in corporations and companies and other pyramid schemes like those, none of that matters in network marketing. So you can get into it, gain the skills that you need without having any background or history or schooling of having those skills. You start at ground zero, wherever you're at now, and you gain those business skills, and you take as much time as you need to get those. And in the end, what makes you rich, it's not money, it's your business skills as it relates to today's economy, not the economy 30 years ago. And there is no more powerful industry or vehicle than the network marketing model for all those reasons. The low risk to get involved. Almost any of them you can get into for less than $500 and make as much money as you want to. And it's your opportunity to lower your taxes next to nothing or nothing. And your opportunity to gain the business skills that you need and to stretch yourself and to personally grow, because your personal growth and your personal income, they're like ladders, and ladders are made to be climbed. They're not designed to treat like a bed to rest on. When you treat your personal growth and your personal income and your spirituality and all of those things like it's a bed to rest on, like most people do, you end up broke and poor and lifestyle diseased and diabetes and obesity and all these other problems that everybody seems to have because they treat all this stuff like it's a bed to rest on. And then you start to rot to death spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically. These are ladders. They're made to be climbed. And you know what? If your heart bleeds for a cause and you want to give back to something, whether it be animals, save the whales, save starving kids, save women from being sex slaves and human trafficking and all these massive problems that's going on, the more you have, the more you're going to have to give back. That's another big talking point in my opinion. I think everybody especially in the United States of America and other countries like the United States, where the economy is a ladder available for anybody to climb, I believe it's actually our obligation, if we put our ego aside, our fears, which is all ego-driven, we put our ego aside, I believe we have a moral obligation to make millions of dollars, pick a cause, and fight for it, tooth and nail. There is 1 billion people in the world starving to death. There's I don't know how many kids that are being traded for sex slaves. There's animal abuse. There's the huge problems, the energy industry killing our planet. And there's too many people that won't make millions of dollars to pitch in and help out because fear, or they don't feel that they deserve it, or who knows what the reason is. But all of those reasons are all ego-driven, because if you're not fearful for yourself, what are you fearful for? If you're in a country like the United States of America or another free country where the economy is like a ladder to climb, and you say no to opportunity to making millions when there's 1 billion plus people in the world starving to death, who are you saying no to if not for yourself? It's not for the 1 billion plus people that are starving to death, or the animals that are being abused, or the kids that are being used for human sex trafficking slaves. Who are you saying no to opportunity for? That's all ego-driven. And in case you didn't know, there's 1 billion people in the world starving to death and all these other things. I find that hard to believe, but in case you didn't know, now you know, and you know too much. You can't say no. Climb the ladder. It's not about you. Climb the ladder. Live your dreams, but do it in a way that adds a benefit to society. No more questioning what the consequences are going to be from your multi-million-dollar business that you're going to build, that I hope you build. And do it in a way that you're pouring yourself into other people's lives, and you're going to fight for a cause, because the world needs a lot more selfless driven champions to fight for these causes, where maybe people in certain parts of the world still live under a vicious dictator, and they need somebody in their corner. They need a lot of somebodies. So wow, this talk turned into something that I had no idea it was going to turn into. I was going to start off with taxes, and just got my really happy I got my taxes back. But I'm telling you guys all this stuff to light you up, make some discoveries, and just whatever your dreams are, go for it. But take out that obligation of helping other people very seriously, and to fight for a cause, because there's a lot of serious problems, dire problems in the world that need more people to put their egos aside, get involved, and help out. And if you want to know more about my industry, I do the network marketing industry. I already talked about it. It's the most amazing industry. It's the lowest risk industry ever, because the startup cost is so low. And it gives you all those opportunities that I've already mentioned, and so I won't mention them again. But and it's created more millionaires than any industry ever. And will take anybody. Except me, I won't take just anybody. You got to follow directions. The quickest way to be delivered from a tough situation is to humble yourself, toss the ego, and follow directions. You can get out. Let's see here. I know the power button is here somewhere. Here it is. I'll talk to you guys later. Connect with me, and let's build a beautiful dream that helps a lot of other people build their beautiful dreams.